everyone, and welcome to our class on pelvic floor strengthening and relaxation. If you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Gretchen Hawley, a physical therapist specializing in multiple sclerosis via functional exercise and neuroplasticity. And one symptom of MS that I think a lot of people struggle with, at least the patients that I work with, but it's not talked about a lot, is pelvic floor symptoms, whether that's incontinence, urgency, frequency. There's so many different things that can happen. And oftentimes people assume it's because of a weak pelvic floor, which absolutely could be the case, but it also could be from a tight pelvic floor. So today we're going to focus on exercises that strengthen and stretch the pelvic floor. If you are having any type of pelvic floor symptoms and you're not already seeing a pelvic floor physical therapist, that might be something that you could look into. There are physical therapists that specialize in this area, but today's class will be a great place for you to get started and learn the basics. So I'm going to scoot back and we will get started. Great. All right, so when you're ready, first I just want everyone to just kind of shake out. When we have tension in our body, it affects everything, including our pelvic floor. So if you feel tightness anywhere or tension, just try to shake it out, stretch it out. And then we're going to start with a brief moment for cardio. We know from research that increasing our heart rate by doing cardio-based exercise primes our brain for neuroplasticity. So we are even more likely to find those neural pathways and get stronger if we do cardio exercise before our strengthening exercises. So once you've shaken out, go ahead and sit up tall. Hands are going to be closed. Don't squeeze, just close your hands and go ahead and start swinging your arms. Swing, swing, swing. The goal here is to get your heart rate up. So maybe you go a little bit faster, or maybe you add more motion or power. Really punch up with every ounce of effort you have, or punching back with your elbows. Just get that heart rate up. There's no right or wrong. If none of those three categories work for you and it doesn't increase your heart rate, try talking at the same time. It definitely makes it a bit harder. Keep going. We're all going to do 5 faster seconds at the end. I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down, then stop and shake everything out. Shake your hands out, your arms, your shoulders. You can let yourself slouch. And as soon as you're ready, come back up tall, close those hands again and forward punches. Again, the goal here is just to increase your heart rate. So get that heart rate moving and pumping, get that blood flowing. Keep going. Remember, you can go faster. You can add more motion or power. I love power for this one. It reminds me of being in the boxing gym with a punching bag. Whatever you gotta do, ideally keeping your hands at shoulder height, but if that's too challenging, you can always punch it down this way. Or if you were having any discomfort, punching forward, punching down is a great option. Keep going. We're gonna do 5 faster seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down. Stop. Shake your hands out, shake your arms out, shake everything out. And when you're ready, our final cardio exercise is going to be upper body jumping jacks. So go ahead and sit up tall again, close those hands, and open the hands, and you're going to come all the way up and down. If you have any shoulder limitations or pain, discomfort, you don't have to come all the way up. It might look like this for you. Or if you have weakness or you can't do that, you could do this. So it doesn't matter where you are on this spectrum, anywhere is fair game. Just keep moving. The goal is to feel like you're getting your heart rate up. So maybe you're going a little bit faster, trying to get more motion. Keep going, keep that heart rate high. Talk out loud if you need an extra challenge. You're all muted so no one can hear you. Keep going. We're gonna do 5 fast seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop and relax, shake everything out. All right, okay, so we're gonna get started with our pelvic floor. So there's gonna be a lot of talk today about pelvic floor lifting and lowering. And so what I want us all to do, just to get a visual, because this isn't, these muscles that we're working on are not visible. So it's really important that you understand where they are and what they feel like. One of the best ways that I like to tell my body what muscles I should be using is to take one hand and you're going to sit on your hand. So shimmy your body in whatever way you need to and just sit on your hand. Those are the muscles that we're going to be working today, all the way the muscles on your fingertip, all the way up to your wrist or wherever you feel touching your hand. Those are the muscles that you're mentally going to be thinking about during our exercises today. Some of our exercises are focused more on hip strengthening or core or breathing, but we're always going to have the mindset of what is our pelvic floor doing while we're doing those exercises. So again, if you're just picturing you're sitting on your hand, those are the muscles that I want you thinking about moving. Okay. So our first exercise is a breathing exercise. Breathing is so closely correlated with our pelvic floor. So what we're going to do is you're going to sit up tall, or if you feel like you're already needing a break, you're more than welcome to relax backwards, but you're still in a tall, upright, good posture. You're going to place both of your hands on your lower belly, below your belly button, and you're going to breathe in through your nose as your belly expands out. I'm going to show you from this side. Show you from this side. Okay, so breathe in through your nose and your belly expands. And as you exhale through your mouth, your belly comes in. Inhale through your nose, belly goes out. And exhale, belly goes in. So we're going to do a few repetitions like that. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. When you're focusing on breathing in, belly goes out. Exhale, belly comes in. Breathe in. Exhale. 2 more. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. And relax and shake everything out. If that's the first time you've ever done belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, that can be really challenging, coordinating the breathing in with the belly coming out. So give yourself some grace if that was hard. It will become easier over time. We're going to add a layer of the pelvic floor to that same exercise now. So you're still doing the same breathing technique where you breathe in through your nose and your hands come out. But when you do that, I want you to think of lowering your pelvic floor. So if you are sitting on your hand, you're trying to get your pelvic floor to drop towards your hand. And then as you exhale and your belly comes in, you're going to think about lifting your pelvic floor. So getting your pelvic floor away from your hand. There's a lot of things moving at once. Your focus is mostly your pelvic floor. Okay, here we go. Hands are on your belly. Breathe in through your nose. Belly comes out, pelvic floor drops. Exhale, pelvic floor comes up and belly comes in. Inhale, belly goes out, pelvic floor drops. My hand over here is what your pelvic floor should be doing. Exhale, pelvic floor comes up like you're picking up a blueberry and belly comes in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. If this is too much to focus on, only focus on the pelvic floor. So as you're inhaling, lower your pelvic floor, relax your pelvic floor. Let all tension away. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. And relax everything. That can be really, really challenging, especially if this is your first time ever doing it. Shake everything out. We're now going to move on to a hip strengthening exercise. Our hips play a huge role in our pelvic floor. If we don't have strength in our hips and stability in our hips, our pelvic floor will often be weak and not working effectively. So stay where you are in the middle of your chair, but move your feet together and your knees together. Everything's going to be zipped up tight, closed together. What you're going to do is open your knees as wide as you can without your feet rolling away from each other. So your feet stay closed, but open your knees as wide as you can. Once they're as wide as you can, squeeze your glute muscles, squeeze your butt cheeks together, and then relax the glutes and close. So we're going to open and squeeze the glutes. Once you're at the end, relax and close. Keep going. Open and squeeze, relax and close. Open, squeeze. You should mostly be feeling this in your glutes, maybe even your pelvic floor as well. As you're opening and squeezing, your pelvic floor would be lifting and tightening. Then as you relax and close, your pelvic floor can relax. Open, squeeze and lift, relax and close. Open, squeeze and lift that pelvic floor. Relax everything and close. Open, squeeze and lift. Relax and close. And similar to what we were doing with that exercise right before this one, with this exercise, it can be hard to feel it in the right area, especially if you haven't been doing these exercises. So as I mentioned, you should mostly feel this in your glutes, but you might have what is called gluteal amnesia, where if you haven't been using your glutes in a while, you might be doing this exercise and look very similar to me, but you don't feel it in the right area or at all. That's okay. Sometimes we just need to do these exercises to wake up the proper muscles that should be working, and over time, you'll feel it in the right area. Close. 2 more. Open, squeeze, relax, close, open, squeeze, lift your pelvic floor, lift everything, hold, 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 a little bit longer, hold, and relax everything and close. Shake everything out. If you need a quick stretch of any kind, go ahead and do that. This shaking out in between is really important. We do not want our bodies to hold on to the tension that you're getting with the strengthening exercises for the full class. We want to go between strengthening and then relaxing. So this shaking is important. Next one, stay where you are, right in the middle of your chair, sitting up tall. Close your hands into fists. Put your fists together. Drop them down wherever they land between your thighs is fine. It's going to be different for all of us depending on our arm length, our leg length. So your fists are together and you're down. Keep a flat back. It's very easy to round. Try your best not to. So if you can't reach your thighs, if you have shorter arms, you can hinge forward, but you're keeping a flat back. You're not rounding. Okay, so once you're here, what you're going to do is squeeze your knees into your fists about 50% of your strength. So you don't have to squeeze as hard as you can, but about with half of your strength, squeeze in and hold and relax. Let's do one more practice one. Squeeze in and relax. All right, when you're ready, squeeze in. And what you're going to do with the pelvic floor, relax. When you squeeze in, lift your pelvic floor. You're picking up that blueberry as you're squeezing in. When you relax, let your pelvic floor relax and drop closer to the chair. Squeeze in and lift your pelvic floor. Relax and lower the pelvic floor. Squeeze and lift. Relax and lower. You'll notice if you're looking at me, you'll notice that for a lot of these exercises, I'm looking down at the floor because it takes a lot of concentration. Lift. It takes a lot of concentration to be focusing on the pelvic floor and intentionally moving it up and down. And relax. The relaxation is so important. So often, I would say 90 to 95% of the people that I work with who have pelvic floor symptoms, they only focus on Kegels and strengthening, but the relaxation is often a huge part in reducing symptoms. So it's not just about tightening. And relax. We've got 5 more. Squeeze in, lift that pelvic floor up, and relax and lower, fully lower that pelvic floor. Let rid of any tension that's in there. Squeeze and lift. Lower and relax. Lift, squeeze, and lower. Squeeze in and lift, 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 hold, and lower. One more. Lift and squeeze, and then lower and relax. Lower, 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 release any tension that's in your pelvic floor. And then you can sit up tall and relax. Again, shake everything out. Try to loosen your body during these intermediate, interchanging exercises. The next one we're going to do is for our calf muscles. There is a nerve that runs from our pelvic floor and things like our bladder all the way down to our calf muscles. So the more we can control our calf muscles, the more we can control our pelvic floor. So we're going to be doing some heel raises. I'll show you from this side. You're going to be sitting up nice and tall, core muscles engaged, meaning pull your belly button in towards your spine. And what you're going to do is lift your heels up as high as you can, then slowly control the lower down. Then you're going to lift and then lower. If this is really hard for you, the more you bend your knees, the higher you'll be able to lift. The further away your feet are from you, you won't be able to lift as high. Now, pelvic floor, when you lift your heels, you lift your pelvic floor. When you lower your heels, you lower your pelvic floor. So picture yourself sitting on your hand, or if it's helpful, actually sit on your hand as you're doing this exercise. Okay, if you haven't already, fix your posture and go ahead and lift those heels, lift the pelvic floor, lower the heels and lower the pelvic floor, relaxing. Lift, lower, slow and controlled. Lift, lower. Lift the heels, lift the pelvic floor. Lower the heels, lower the pelvic floor. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Keep going. Now, as you can see, it would be very easy to do any of these exercises without ever focusing on the pelvic floor, which is why so many people, MS or not, have pelvic floor symptoms and disturbances because we tend not to focus on the pelvic floor during exercise. But we can add our pelvic floor into almost any exercise that we're doing. And that can increase strength, control, flexibility, everything that makes for a good, strong core. Up and lower, up and lower. 3 more. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the heels, lower the pelvic floor, lower the heels. 2 more. Up, down, up, down. And stop there. All right, shake everything out. Again, this shaking is really important. The next one we're going to do is a full body exercise, and it's going to be a squat hold. There's 2 ways that you can do this. Option number 1 is, I'm just going to change the way my chair is so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so everyone is going to have their feet about wider than shoulder distance. So shoulder distance for me would be about here, but I'm going to move my feet a little bit wider. So feet nice and wide. Option number 1 is you're going to hinge forward with a flat back and push your feet down into the floor. You're not actually going to go anywhere, but you're going to push your feet down as if you're trying to lower the floor away from you. And then relax means you come back. So you'd push, 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 and relax. Option number 2, you're going to do the same thing, but when you push your feet down, you're going to come up to this hold position, this squat hold, and then relax. And then push down, hold, 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 and relax. What you're going to do with your pelvic floor is as you're pushing, you're lifting your pelvic floor. When you relax your pelvic floor. Okay, when you're ready, decide which option you want to do, just the push and your butt stays down, or the push and hold and come down. One thing I forgot to mention, regardless of which version you do, pull your belly muscles in, pull your belly button in towards your spine. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and push, 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 hold, lift that pelvic floor, and lower and relax. And we're going to take a second here to really relax, to lower that pelvic floor. Push and lift. And slowly relax and relax everything. No tension anywhere. Come back up, push down, belly's engaged, pelvic floor is lifted, and slowly relax. If you're plopping down in your chair, your shoulders are coming back too quickly. Push, push, push. So the solution for that is to keep your shoulders forward as you sit down. So you should already be sitting before you even think about lifting your chest up. Forward and push, push, push. Lift that pelvic floor. Sit down, relax, and fully release any tension. Forward, lift, relax, and fully relax. Forward and push, lift that pelvic floor. Sit and relax, release all tension. 2 more. Push down, lift the floor, sit and lower, relax all tension. 1 more. Come forward, push down, hold that pelvic floor up nice and high, and relax and release all tension. Nice job. If you haven't felt this yet, what you might be feeling is some mental fatigue. This is so much more than just general strengthening exercises. You are mentally focusing on your pelvic floor, and that can be fatiguing. So if you are feeling that, give yourself some grace, shake everything out. We're going to move to a standing exercise. I'll show you a seated option as well. If you are ready to stand, you can go ahead and stand. The seated version is going to be sitting up in the middle of your chair, and you're going to slide your leg out and in. Out. So you're just sliding. You don't have to lift. But when you're sliding, you're focusing on your glute, so this butt muscle, when you're going out. And you're going to lift your pelvic floor when your leg is out, lower your pelvic floor on the way in. Lift and lower. If you're doing the standing option, you're going to hold on to a chair. This is not a balance exercise, so please do hold on to a chair. The leg that you're standing on is going to be slightly bent, not locked. You're up nice and tall. Your belly muscles are pulled in and engaged, and you're going to raise your leg out diagonally back. So if I show you from this side, it's diagonally back. You're not arching your back or anything like that, just however far you can go, diagonally back. And same idea with the pelvic floor. Lift the pelvic floor, lower the pelvic floor. Lift and lower. And all of us, seated or standing, should mostly feel this exercise in our glute muscle over here. Okay, if you need a quick shake, shake everything out, release any tension that you have. When you're ready, if you haven't picked what position you want to do, if you're standing, slightly bend that knee. Everyone is sitting or standing up tall, belly is engaged. When you're ready, move your leg out and down. Out and lift that pelvic floor, relax and lower. Lift, lower. If you're standing, you are going to feel this leg working a lot. Even though technically we're doing this exercise for this leg, it is a double whammy. You are getting both legs working. Lift and lift the pelvic floor. Relax and lower the pelvic floor. Out and lift. Relax. Out and lift. Relax. Two more. Out and lift. Relax. One more. Out and lift. Relax. All right, shake everything out. If you're standing, you're gonna maneuver yourself so that you can feel safe moving to the other side. So maybe if you're facing forward, you won't really have to change much, but if your chair was on one side, change it to the other side. I'm going to put mine to the side just so you can see me and nothing's in the way. Okay, and if you're sitting, you're gonna do the same thing, but the other leg. So let's all do 1 or 2 practice rounds. So bring your belly muscles in, you're up tall. You're going to bring your leg, either sliding it out if you're sitting or sliding it out if you're standing. Pelvic floor comes up, lower the pelvic floor, lower the leg. Lift the leg and pelvic floor, lower. All right, those were 2 practice rounds. Shake everything out if you need to. And whenever you're ready, let's go for it. So, all right, go ahead and lift and lower. Lift. The lowering and the relaxing is the hardest part for me, but everyone's different. You might feel like the lifting of your pelvic floor is more challenging. Take an extra second to really make sure your pelvic floor is doing what it should be doing. Even if that means you're going slower than me, that's fine. Or maybe faster. And relax the pelvic floor. Lift the pelvic floor. Relax the pelvic floor. Lift and lower. Most of us should be feeling it in our glutes. You'll feel it other places too, but that should be the biggest place. Up and lower. 2 more. Up and lower. Up, lift the pelvic floor. Lower the pelvic floor. All right, shake everything out. Our next one can be done seated or standing. It is a weight shifting exercise. So if you're standing, your feet are going to be about a little bit wider than hip distance, kind of similar to our squat exercise. And we're going to be shifting our weight from side to side. So you're going to lift the pelvic floor as you come over to this side, lower the pelvic floor as you come back to the center. And then same thing, lift as you come over here and lower in the center. If you're doing this seated, feet are going to be nice and wide if possible. You're going to shift your weight over here, so you should have more weight on this leg. Pelvic floor is lifted. Lower the pelvic floor. Lift and lower. So either way, it's a side-to-side weight shift. This is a great exercise to strengthen your pelvic floor when you're walking and in a standing position. Okay, if you need to shake out, go ahead and shake out. When you're ready, fix your posture. So we're either sitting or standing up tall. Belly muscles are pulled in. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. And go ahead and shift over towards your right. Lift that pelvic floor. And lower the pelvic floor as you come back to the center. And lift. and lower. Lift, lower. Keep breathing, lift. There's a lot happening in all these exercises, so it can be easy to stop breathing and hold our breath. Lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Nice, you guys look great. Keep going, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. Your focus is on your pelvic floor. Lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Two more. Lift, lower, up, down. One more. This is the last one. Lift and down. You'll get a break after this. Lift and down. And relax and shake everything out. We're going to end with 3 stretches to loosen up the muscles that attach to our pelvic floor, our hamstrings and our glutes, and then our feet are important as well. So we'll do a foot stretch too. So go ahead and sit down, and we're going to do a hamstring stretch first. So you're going to be in the middle or edge of your chair, and you're going to straighten out one leg. It doesn't matter what your foot is doing. You don't have to worry about keeping it up. So your foot or knee is as straight as possible. Hands are on the opposite lower thigh. Sit up tall and hinge forward. And you should mostly feel this stretch behind your thigh, anywhere behind your knee up to behind your bottom. This is our hamstring muscles, and when our hamstring muscles are tight, it affects our pelvic floor. So we want to relax those muscles so the pelvic floor can move in the way that it should be moving. And when we're stretching here, try to relax your pelvic floor. Sometimes if you can't tell what your pelvic floor is doing, what I like to do is try to lift my pelvic floor and then relax it. And that helps me learn where it is and what I need to do in order to get it to release the tension and relax. When you're ready, come back up. Bring that leg in. You can use your hands if you need to, but always try to attempt to bring your leg in first without using your hands. Then same thing on the other side. Hands are down. Sit up tall and hinge. Same thing here. You should be feeling this in the back of your thigh, maybe the back of your knee. Keep breathing. Try to relax that pelvic floor. When you're ready, come back up tall. Try your best not to use your hands as you bring that leg in if possible. If it didn't work, go ahead and use your hands. Next is the figure 4 stretch to stretch our glutes. There were several times today where I said you should feel it here. Now we got to stretch them out. So you can either cross one foot over the other, sit up tall and hinge forward, or you can grab it, place it on the opposite lower thigh, sit up tall, and hinge forward if you need to. I have pretty tight hips, so this is a very big stretch for me, but keep your back flat. You're going to protect your back by keeping it flat. If you're rounding, you'll feel more successful because you can go further, but you're more likely to injure your back. So keep everything flat. Relax the pelvic floor. If you can't tell if it's relaxed or not, try to lift it and then lower it and keep it low. You should mostly feel this stretch somewhere on the outside of your hip, maybe the outside of your thigh. This leg is just dead weight. When you're ready, stop hinging forward. So come back up tall, lower that leg or uncross the leg, and then repeat the same thing on the other side. So either cross or lift that leg. Your hands should be holding it on there. This leg is just dead weight. Sit up tall and hinge. And when you're ready, if you are hinging, stop hinging, relax, but keep your leg there. If you dropped it, pick it back up. Our last exercise, or stretch rather, that we're gonna do is massaging the bottom of our foot. Our arch muscles play a huge role in our pelvic floor. If you have tightness in the bottom of your foot, you likely have tightness in your pelvic floor. So we're just going to spend about 30 seconds or so just massaging the bottom of your foot. There's no right or wrong. Just put your thumbs in there, move around, do some circles. If you want, you can just stretch your toes by pulling them back, whatever feels good to you. But the goal is just to relax your foot. All right, and when you're ready, now you can drop that foot. Bring the other side up and same thing. We're just gonna massage, stretch, just get that foot to relax. You can use your knuckles, your thumbs. Again, there's no right or wrong. All right, and when you're ready, you can lower that leg. The final thing I wanna do is go back to that very first exercise that we did. And I want you to analyze, can you feel your pelvic floor more now that you've completed the class than in the very beginning? So if you were sitting up tall, you can still sit up tall. If you are relaxing against the back of your chair, you can relax. It's the belly breath, where when you breathe in, your belly comes out and your pelvic floor lifts, or sorry, breathing in, belly comes out, pelvic floor lowers. Exhale, pelvic floor comes up and belly comes in. So just do a few of those. So breathe in, belly comes out, pelvic floor lowers. Exhale, belly comes in, pelvic floor lifts. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And relax. Give yourself a round of applause. I always like to end with that one because oftentimes if you were confused in the beginning and you weren't sure if you were doing it right or feeling it the right thing, once you've completed several exercises with the same strategy of lifting and lowering the pelvic floor, when we go back to that first one, it will feel better and like you were able to engage it more. So awesome job. That concludes class for today.